burial party, please draw close.
Good morning, everyone. The biography of the late lawyer Anthony Akoto Ampaw. Lawyer Anthony Akoto Ampaw, often affectionately called Fotoni or Sheshe, was born on the 13th of April 1950 in the serene village of Lolobia Shambi, nestled in the Oti region of Ghana. His birth brought much joy to his loving parents, Pius and Dorothea Akoto Ampaw, as the first child of their marriage, and his arrival being a day after his father's birthday. A few years later, a 4-year-old Anthony will become the older brother to his uterine sister, Princess Consolata Akoto Ampaw, after whose birth came Annette, Michael Comey, and Mensa. There were also his half-siblings, Da Epiphania, Fo Kosivi, Emefa, myself, and Ako. Akoto Ampaw's formative years were marked by a deep sense of community, generosity, and a passion for education instilled by his parents. He began his pre-basic education at the age of 6 in the year 1956 at the St. Francis Demonstration School, which was the experimental practice school of the then St. Francis Training College, now St. Francis College of Education, where his father was at the time the vice principal. While there, he made lifelong friends in the persons of Hansen Senu, Chaku Mensa, Guy Kofi Kondomre, and Lambert Bache of blessed memory. In 1959, Tony, along with his father, left for Great Britain, where he continued his primary school education in the town of Reading. His mother, Dorothea, later joined them until they returned to Ghana in 1961. He later gained admission into St. Augustine's College, Ogasco, in 1963, where he was placed in St. George's House until his completion of Form 5. While at Ogasco, he sat for the School Certificate and General Certificate of Education Ordinary Level exam in June of 1967. He was an exemplary student who, as a science student, was selected in Form 3 for his academic brilliance and placed in a special class in response to the Ministry of Education's experiment to cut secondary education to 4 years. He sat with Form 4 students in taking the O-level exams, which he passed with flying colors. When Fotoni returned to sixth form, he switched to the arts program. Subsequently, he was elected the St. Joseph's House Prefect for the 1968-69 academic year. His aptitude to combine and excel in academic, sports, and social life whilst in St. Augustine's earned him the nickname Rough Tatis. Throughout his time at Ogasco, Fotoni was an outstanding athlete, specializing in 800-meter race. Additionally, he was a stellar footballer and table tennis player. He was also an active member of the Drama and Literary Club, Debate Society, Athletics Club, and the Voluntary Workers Union, popularly known as VOLU. In 1971, he entered the University of Ghana, Legon, to read LLB law. Besides having a rich academic life, he was an ardent political activist and further established himself as a great sportsman par excellence in table tennis, track and cross-country events, and football, for which he had a great passion. Between 1971 and 1975, Fotoni won Sportsman of the Year award on 2 occasions. His love for football made him develop himself as a player coach for his halls, which is the Mensa Saba Hall, soccer team, and the University of Ghana team. It was during his years at Legon that he earned the nickname Sheshe, which he was proudly called until his final days. Akoto Ampaw was known as a near perfectionist in life. And in the words of one of his closest associates, Charles Rekubrobe, Sheshe was incomparable as a legal brain, friend, brother, and all he stood for. Sheshe took up a leader role as the Secretary General of the All-African Students Union from 1979 to 1985, together with other student leaders such as Philip Gardner of blessed memory, Yao Graham, Formitus, Kwesi Edouard Mankwa, Gusitano, and alongside some university lecturers and workers, including Fui Chikata, Chachu Chikata, Professor Kwame Karikari, Professor Tichua Menu, and Honorable E.T. Mensah, he revived and re-energized the anti-imperial movement in Ghana during the late 70s. This culminated in the formation of the New Democratic Movement in 1980. During this period, Uncle Shea devoted all his time and energy to the development of a vibrant, democratic, anti-imperialist and human rights movement in Ghana, at the expense of his career and further studies. In 1980, now a graduate student in law as well as a student leader, Fotoni became a member of the National Affairs Discussion Group, NADIG, as one of the few student members, which led to him being a founding member of the New Democratic Movement, NDM. When Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings overthrew the then democratically elected government of President Hila Liman on the 31st of December 1981, Fotoni and other leading members of the NDM, after several weeks of deliberation, decided to give critical support to the new regime of the PNDC. The NDM collaborated with Rawlings and the PNDC until 1985, when they broke away because their political views were no longer in alignment. Following this, Fotoni was placed in political detention by Rawlings' PNDC regime. The first time was in 1986, where he was held in Tamale prison for 6 months, and again in 1987, where he spent 22 months in James Ford prison in Accra. During these dreadful times, his siblings, Danette, Dakonso, and Fokomi will continue to care for him, providing food and other necessities whilst he was in detention. Sheshe was among 7 critics, namely Akwesi Edouard Mankwa, or Formitus as many of you may know him, Professor Kwame Karikari, Yao Graham, John Ndebugri of blessed memory, Ralph Kugbe, Kwesi Pratt, and Kweku Bako, who were arrested by then security police in 1987. 4 of the 7 were released after a few months. Before their arrest, they and other members of the NDM and the Kwame Nkrumah Revolutionary Guard were accused in the government-owned press of inciting students and trade unionists against the government's economic policies. Sheshe, Edouard Mankwa, and Professor Kwame Karikari, the remaining 3, even appeared in the January 1989 issue of the Amnesty International newsletter in the Campaign for Prisoners of the Month section. The article stressed that they had not been accused of using or advocating for violence, but were considered to be prisoners of conscience, detained solely on the account of their political opinions. In 1990, after his release from detention, Fotoni, together with Professor Albert Edubuahin, Kwesi Pratt Jr., Kweku Bako Jr., His Excellency, the current President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, and a few others formed the Movement for Freedom and Justice, which broke the culture of silence in Ghana and ultimately forced the Rawlings-led military junta to come to an end, returning Ghana to a democratic rule. In 1991, Sheshe returned to his legal studies, enrolling in the Ghana School of Law, and was called to the bar in 1993. He then joined his now close friend and colleague, His Excellency Nana Addo, at his law firm, Nana Addo Prempe and Company. Within a short time, he established himself as a reliable and formidable litigator. Sheshe's hard work and boundless intellect helped him to quickly rise up the ranks to main partner. His illustrious work as a legal practitioner was not for personal gain, but often for the protection of human rights and to uphold the Constitution of Ghana. In 1995, Fotoni and other leaders of the Alliance for Change, a political pressure group, led the famous Kumi Preko demonstrations, mobilizing countless Ghanaians onto the streets of Accra to protest the harsh economic conditions and the value-added tax policy introduced by the Rawlings administration. Fotoni and a dedicated and diligent lawyer who revelled in hard work. This was to the result that every time he entered a courtroom, he had at his command a complete knowledge of the facts and laws pertaining to the case. With this important advantage not only always shared by his opponents, he was able to present his argument cogently, consciously, and comprehensively. He was a straightforward advocate and was never one to rely on showmanship or performative submissions in the courtroom. Fotoni was the head of the Ajesu family of Lobia Shambi. However, due to his heavy work schedule, he often delegated most of the work, which included land issues in particular, to his younger brother, Fokomi. Though slow to speak, Shea's words were always final as soon as he opened his mouth at family meetings. In private life, Fotoni got engaged to Kate Queno in 2001. In April 2005, when plans were advanced for his wedding to Kate, his very close and loving sister, Danette, passed on to eternity. 2 months after Danette's burial, his fiancée, Kate, also tragically lost her life after a short illness. These two deaths, in quick succession, heavily affected Uncle Shea, and we dare say that his life was no longer the same. Fotoni had a very strong bond with his immediate family, siblings, nephews, and nieces. His younger siblings, MFR, myself, Ako, and his nephews, Sena Akoto Ampaw, his namesake, were regarded as his own children by friends and close associates. He has been a father to all, to every member of the family since the death of our dad in June of 1975. When his dear sister Danette passed, he and Dakonso took over the guardianship and care of Danette's daughter, Princess Fatia, whom he affectionately called his little girl. There is hardly anyone in the family who did not benefit from his good counsel and generosity. A lover of jazz, the home would occasionally be filled with beautiful melodies, dancing out from his bedroom upstairs. Although he was very much a workaholic, when he could find the time, Uncle Shea would attend jazz clubs with his friends and colleagues, and also found ways to make time for his Friday fufu sessions with a close-knit group of companions. The fufu maestros were some of his dearest friends over the years, including Mike Agri, Rigor Mortis, Asafu, Chief Loco, Auntie Gladys, Bernard Shaw, Fred Nemo, Smiley Bannerman, Nana Osei Tutu, Sir Charles J, Kofi Ampaw, just to name a few. It was at home in the company of his two closest sisters, Dakonso and Danette, that Fotoni truly enjoyed life. He especially loved and enjoyed the weekend fufu prepared by his sisters, after which we would all gather in front of TV to watch football, his greatest passion. When Dakonso too left us on the fateful Monday at dawn, some of us knew deep in our hearts that Fotoni was not going to be the same again. The bond was just too strong between the two of them. Fotoni used his experience and knowledge to advocate for human rights and reforms, to enhance democratic dispensation through electoral integrity. His activism extended far beyond the shores of Ghana. In July of 2009, Tony embarked on a trip to the Gambia with members of the Media Foundation for West Africa to follow up on the case of journalists who had suffered multiple attacks at the hands of Gambian authorities in the face of abundant freedoms in other neighboring countries like Ghana and Nigeria. Ever the activist and reformer, he was a leading member of CDD, Media Foundation, and Star Ghana, and chairman of the Law Reform Commission. Fotoni worked on the Office of Special Prosecutor Bill, enacted into law in 2017, the Right to Information Bill, which was passed in 2019, and recently putting together a coalition to oppose the so-called Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill. To these and other such causes which he championed, Fotoni brought a great deal more than intellectual firepower. His technical skill as an experienced lawyer brought altruistic love and compassion. Fotoni soon acquired a good and wide-ranging practice. He was much in demand in cases involving intricate questions of constitutional law. Always willing and able to share his wealth of knowledge, he authored the book, Legislation on Media, Speech and Expression in Ghana, which was published in 2004 by MFWA, the most detailed and exhaustive source book on Ghanaian media law till date. Fotoni's most enduring work was done in the halls of justice, with notable cases such as Abel Edusei versus the Attorney General and others in 1998, Kwesi Nyamitiase Eshan versus EC and AG 2016, and Martin Amidu versus Attorney General and others in 2017. In recent times, he is most widely known for the election petition cases. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and others versus John Dramani Mahama and others, 2013, special edition, and John Dramani Mahama versus Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and others, 2021. Over the years, his work on such trailblazing cases earned him national recognition and further enhanced his already high reputation and popularity among the general public as a man of uncommon integrity who was dedicated to defending the rights of the individual, the ordinary citizen, against the forces of bureaucratic government. In March of 2023, while in hospital, he was awarded the National Honors Order of the Volta Companion. He received the award for his work as a member of the International Tribunal of the Law of the Seas, ITLOS, main legal team that helped Ghana win the maritime border dispute against Cote d'Ivoire in 2017. Prior to this, he, over the years, received numerous awards and honors, such as the Student Representative Council, University of Ghana Certificate of Honors in 2000, 2 Ghana Journalists Association Awards in 2005 and 2008, respectively, the Honorary Award by the Coalition to the Right of Information Ghana 2019 for his exceptional leadership and dedication towards the passage of Ghana's Right to Information Act 2019, Act 989, and the Honor of Legend of Journalism Award from the Center for Communication and Culture in 2022. In February of 2023, the legal luminary Akoto Ampaw, was rushed to the hospital to the University of Ghana Medical Center after a breakdown. His body has succumbed to the poor eating habits and sleep deprivation that were a direct effect of his workaholism and overburdened task load. 4 months later, while steadily recovering to the joy of family and loved ones, his dear sister, Princess Consolata, whom he affectionately called Biroto, passed away after a long illness on the 5th of June 2023. Being the closest to her, Dakonso's death took an immediate toll on Fotoni, and his health was once again in decline. 2 months after his sister's burial, Fotoni was once again sent to the University of Ghana Medical School for a procedure to assist his eating, which he responded quite well. Tragically and unexpectedly, on the night of Thursday, the 19th of October, his health took a turn for the worse. Despite efforts of numerous doctors and medical professionals working through the night on Friday, the 20th of October 2023, at around 8 a.m., our Venerable Anthony Akoto Ampaw took his last breath, surrounded by heartbroken and dejected family and close friends. Akoto Ampaw, man of unparalleled integrity, voice of the voiceless, and legal luminary. We take solace in the knowledge that you will be remembered for paving the way for others and leaving a lasting legacy. Your impactful work and the contributions shall be celebrated by future generations. For legends never truly die. Thank you.
Good morning. On Monday, 6 October 2003, I took my first steps up the 4-story building at 67 Kuro Thompson Road, Adaraka, that housed the famed law firm Akoto Ampaw. Those steps would set me up on an adventure filled with memories in the practice of law for some 14 years before I was appointed to public service in 2017, first as Deputy Attorney General. The memories I speak of were in no small measure made possible by the gentleman whose life we celebrate today, Anthony Akoto Ampaw, Commander Shea, as I will subsequently call him in all my dealings with him. I had been interviewed by Philip Addison Esquire, then head of chambers at the firm in June 2003, following the conclusion of my law school examinations, as one of 2 identified replacements for Mrs. Atachia and Yoni Kulendi, now Justice of the Supreme Court, who had left the firm. After a few minutes of interactions with Mr. Addison, he indicated that I could start my training pending my call to the bar in October 2003. I politely declined, putting across my intention to travel to London, United Kingdom, pending the release of my examination results, and asked to begin in October when results had been released. At about 8 a.m. on 6 October 2023, I reported at the chambers to begin my privilege, following my call to the bar on 3 October. Mr. Addison had traveled abroad. The first person I encountered was Kweku Esifri, who gave me a seat and asked me to see Sheshi for some work. Sheshi's disarming personality shone through immediately. Even though he seemed not to know about my engagement by Mr. Addison, he straight away gave me a file on a matter entitled Stephen Anasi, a very senior lawyer then and now deceased, versus Canasic Communications Limited, to proceed to the High Court presided over by a leadership Felicity Amwa. In complete bewilderment, I asked Sheshi, "You mean I should go and handle this matter today?" He replied, "Yes, you think we are joking here?" "It's a simple motion for default judgment," he said. "We have filed our defense. I know it's on record, just go and indicate same to the court." I did accordingly, and alas, all went well. It was in tune with the Akoto Ampaw spirit of enterprise, self-reliance, resilience, and preparedness to take on big challenges at any time. From that time, Commander Shea took me under his wings and shaped my thinking and actions in the virtues of good practice. It is no exaggeration to say that he was my anchor, my trusted source of verification of the validity and legitimacy of any position I took on any important case I handled. Together with other seniors, they provided a perfect blend of qualities required for sound tutelage in the law. With a golden heart woven of kindness and tolerance, Sheshi painstakingly scrutinized every work I put before him, making the final product world-class. He freely and selflessly shared his ideas on any matter of law, even when he disagreed with my views. In November 2004, as a young practitioner with barely 1 year experience under my belt, I received instructions as defense counsel in perhaps the most sensational litigation at the time, the Akoto Ampaw versus Atusam Gina Amable, Western Publications, the publishers of the Daily Guide newspaper. Sheshi was of the view that the newspaper had aired in the publication they had made about the former First Lady, and that, as he said, I should not be wasting my time on such matters. When he realized my determination to take out representation for the defense in the case, he provided due guidance each step of the way. Even though I was alone in court, I was fortified by his support in chambers. When judgment was delivered in October 2006, my clients had emerged victorious. That case was a watershed in my legal career, thrusting me into prominence and opening the doors to many high-profile cases between 2005 and 2010, in which I achieved perfect success, all with the guidance of Shea. Following that case, I was recommended by Professor Kwame Kakari as one of 5 lawyers selected from Africa to join other lawyers from around the world to pursue a program in comparative media law and policy at the University of Oxford. Shea was a referee for me, in addition to Professor Kakari. A distinct quality in Shea's dealings with any lawyer was his magnanimity, was the embodiment of pro bono work in Ghana and inculcated in me the spirit of free but often very tedious legal services for various clients, especially in human rights and labor law, whose cases traveled all the way to the Supreme Court and eventually found their way into the law reports of Ghana. He unselfishly imparted his knowledge without expectation of a reward and celebrated success without inhibition. He talks that a lawyer ought to give off his best to any client, whether they had paid a fee or not. It was indeed an honor to collaborate with him as counsel for a number of labor unions in Ghana, when I was appointed as counsel for the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, CLOGSAG, in a major litigation in 2014, when the government purported to appoint a sole trustee for the Tier 2 pension scheme of all employees on the Government of Ghana payroll under the National Pensions Act 2008 at 766. More admirable about Shea was the valor and courage he mastered in defending a cause he deemed right. It is no secret that generally was a voice of conscience in the Kufadu Pempenko, the barometer for right or wrong, justice or injustice, a gentleman that uttered the noblest motives of men. He never demeaned others when he could easily do so, with his limitless knowledge and gifts. Sheshi, that is our hero. On Sunday, 18 December 2016, pursuant to a request by the then President-elect, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I presented the paper on the reconstitution of the governing boards of various state-owned enterprises to him in his study at his Lima residence. The President-elect formally informed me about his decision to appoint me as Deputy Attorney General and Deputy Minister for Justice, with Madame Gloria Efo-Ekufo as my boss. Apparently, Sheshi was aware. When I got to the office the following day, she called me for a discussion, affirmed his belief in me to excel in that role, and assured me of his continued support and encouraged me to take up the position. That was the emotional impetus I needed for the uncharted path I was about to navigate. The words he spoke were consistent with the keen interest he had taken in my progress in life ever since our paths crossed in 2003. Over the course of my stay at the office of Attorney General so far, Sheshi has been a source of immense support for the office. He served as an advisor to the Attorney General in the historic Ghana against Cote d'Ivoire maritime boundary dispute settled by the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea in Hamburg. He was a member of the government's legal team in the conduct of the Anglo-Gold Ghana Limited against Republic of Ghana arbitration, conducted under the ICSID arbitration rules, in which an award was delivered in 2018. He was a member of the committee set up by the Attorney General in 2018 to review the report of the Constitution Review Commission, of which I was the chairman. He served as a member of the governing board of the Law Reform Commission from 2017 to 2021. Indeed, when I assumed the mantle as the Attorney General in 2021, I had no difficulty at all in recommending to the President his appointment as the chairman of the Law Reform Commission, a board whose membership included justices to the Supreme Court of Ghana. He was a man of principle, pure and simple, truly concerned with the general well-being of the Ghanaian society and proper shaping of the developmental course of the country. He did not decline an opportunity to serve Ghana in any capacity insofar as he could, and he would express his candid views on any occasion without fear or favor. It was with extreme trepidation that on 20th October 2023, I received news from Mr. Alex Quino of another hospitalization of Ankesheshi at the University of Ghana Medical Center at the time that I was on my way to attend the court bar ceremony of new lawyers. I knew Ankesheshi had been hospitalized some months earlier, and together with my wife Jocelyn, we had visited him. He was lucid and teased me about my claim to be a socialist, when in his view, I was completely a capitalist. Something he regularly did whenever we had time to chat about ourselves. He mustered the strength to walk us out a considerable distance after our visit. I saw him subsequently during the funeral arrangements for his late sister, Princess Consolata. I never suspected that the wicked traps of death would be laid only a few months later. However, when I got a call on that fateful morning of 20th October 2023, I had a bad feeling about it. I immediately called my wife, who incidentally happened to be on medical duties at UGMC, to check up on him, since I could only visit in the evening after the court bar of the newly enrolled lawyers. An hour later, she called back with the sad news. Sheshe was gone. Shey, your legacy is etched into the minds of those who came into contact with you and the stories they share about you. You carved your name on hearts, not tombstones. Your goodness changed my life. You sought the happiness of others and sacrificed by helping others build their own lives. You gave benevolently to the service of our country and the causes you believed in. If anyone ever lived a good life, that was she. You were kind, loving, and gracious, and never indeed needed a mentor more. In Sheshe, I got the best. The great lessons of honesty, hard work, respect for others, and confidence in humility you taught myself and others of the Kufuor Pepeko ilk will inspire us to continue your footsteps. By emulating your example of sacrifice, courage, diligence, consistency, and self-discovery, I know that we will always succeed wherever we may find ourselves. Having to write this at your demise is heartbreaking, but as Shakespeare reminds us in Macbeth at 4 Scene 3, and I quote, "Give sorrow words, the grief that does not speak, whispers the all-fraught heart and bids it break," end of quote. Thank you for impacting my life in the way you did. I will never forget, Commander Shea. May the Almighty receive you into his wide, peaceful bosom and blot out any transgressions. Continue to rest in perfect peace. Thank you.
Proverbs chapter 31, verses 8 to 9. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy. In the tapestry of my life, there exists a profound and enduring thread, woven with the wisdom, kindness, and unyielding integrity of my beloved Uncle Shea, an exemplary man who not only raised me, but sculpted the contours of my character with his indelible influence. Today I bid farewell to my guardian, mentor, and fatherly guide. My dear Uncle Shea, known to the world as the legal luminary Akoto Ampaw, was the very embodiment of justice, a voice for the voiceless, and the unwavering pillar that held our family together. As a child, Uncle Sheshe was my own personal superhero. I would watch him command so much authority with grace and humility each time he walked into a room. I would peek in on his early morning yoga poses in absolute awe, convinced that he must have super strength. It didn't help that he was also the tallest person I knew. Uncle Shay set the bar unbelievably high for a 6-year-old. On weekends, he would sit with me and share stories of his days in San Francisco, painting a picture of childhood filled with an abundance of love and laughter. Tales of roughhousing with Pius, his father, much to the amused chagrin of Dorothy, his perfectly poised mother. Memories of how he and his siblings spent summers reenacting scenes from cowboy films or putting on plays in the garden at the direction of his parents. And his time in England, playing with bows and arrows as he and his new friends fought over who would be Robin Hood. And if you haven't guessed by now, he was always Robin Hood. His smile was brightest when he spoke of his mother and her perfect dinners. I'm still convinced no one's cooking ever compared in his eyes. These beautiful stories paved the way for our own adventures. Afternoon tickle fights and Robin Hood-style ambushes that dissolved into laughter. Echoes of love reverberating through our home in North Kanishi. As I got a bit older, our shared love for literature became a cornerstone of our relationship. From the evocative pages of Amar Taidu's Changes, a Love Story, to the profound insights found in Lord Dennin's The Due Process of Law. He broadened my horizons with books that transcended the ordinary, at least to my 9-year-old mind. I still remember the day it all began. He got home earlier than usual one day from work to find me reading one of the books I had stolen from his bookshelf, and spent the next hour quizzing me on what I had read. The very next day, he surprised me with entire collections, Shakespeare's poetic verses, Chinua Achebe's gripping narratives, and as many Arthur Conan Doyle books he could find, urging me to explore the worlds within their pages. The bookshelves in his room now became a treasure trove that he willingly shared, asking me to embark on literary journeys that mirrored the complexities of life. Uncle Shay acknowledged that while I had lived a somewhat sheltered life, learning of how other lived experiences and points of view would allow me to discover realities I otherwise never could. That was Uncle Shay in a nutshell, constantly trying to understand the plights of people whose shoes he could never walk in. Through these shared memories, he not only nurtured my intellectual curiosity, but also instilled in me a deep appreciation for the power of words to shape minds and hearts. In the wake of tragedy, when darkness enveloped my world with the loss of my birth mother, Annette, Uncle Shay and our dearly departed Tanti emerged as beacons of strength. Together they cradled me through the storm, offering solace and boundless love. If Tanti was my heart in human form, Uncle Shay was my very spine and rib cage, who held us up, protected, and kept us safe. While the pain of losing them both so soon is insurmountable, anyone lucky enough to witness their love would know that imagining them apart is an impossible task, to say the least. In times of need, his protective embrace provided comfort, and his guidance illuminated the path forward. Tanti and I would jokingly call him Prophet Ezekiel, largely due to how downright prophetic much of his advice and cautions were, but in part for the dark gray shirt he often wore at home with a large Ezekiel printed across. Uncle Sheshe was a boundless well of knowledge and inspiration, ever ready to impart his wisdom and experience wherever they were needed. In fact, this might be the only thing I've ever written without his constructive criticism and proofreading. If you can't tell from my many run-on sentences. We never tired of things to talk about, whether it was over the limited and whitewashed history I was being taught in class 6, or the future implications of advancements in neuroscience on legal rules when I chose to write my final year paper on neuro law. I owe so much of my life to the man who taught me the value of education and a hunger for knowledge, whose life exhibited the essence of living in service to others, the transformative power of generosity, and the importance of tolerance and acceptance. Our bond was further nurtured in the melodies of jazz and found its crescendo in the soulful notes of Natalie Cole's Unforgettable. On car rides, we'll sing along to the music, creating our own symphony of love and everlasting memories. I can still hear him now. Unforgettable, that's what you are. On car rides, as we'll sing, Akashe also encouraged me to follow my creative pursuits, whether they were music, art, or cinema. From buying my first keyboard and negotiating nearly all of my artist contracts, to attending plays, screenings, and award shows. He was my steadfast supporter, my anchor in the tempest of life. At home, he was our mediator, always seeking to resolve any issues that arose and advising each of us on the importance of unity and compassion for one another. His love for family was not a mere sentiment, it was a profound commitment that manifested in every action, every word of encouragement, in every interaction. Within and beyond his professional life, he truly was a paragon of justice, echoing the wisdom of Lord Denon. The law should be a shield for the oppressed, not a sword for the oppressor. Exemplifying true altruism, he worked tirelessly and thanklessly to protect the rights of the oppressed and marginalized in society. In fact, when I was asked to accept his National Honors Order of the Volta Companion Award on his behalf, while it was a joyful day, I was deeply saddened that he couldn't be there to finally receive an award for the hard work that he did throughout his life in this country. We owe him a great deal. My dear Uncle Shay, my sweetest of hearts, my college master, my oga at the top. This is usually when he would tilt his head back with an amused grin and say, "Yes, little girl, what do you want?" Today, however, I want nothing more than to be able to hold you again. To hear you correct my grammar in the middle of a conversation. To hear you hum along to Aretha Franklin's greatest hits, or tell me, "Thea, but you dying, you're whacking yourself up," when I'm being too high-strung. I'd give anything to hear you make the most anxiety-inducing noises, only to run to your room and find out it was because of a bad play in a football game, or because you got too excited watching one of your favorite Nigerian films. I wish you could have stayed longer to see the fruit of all your labor. To finally take those years of vacation time that you instead spent working on countless pro bono cases. I wish life had been kinder to you and shown you the unconditional grace that you showed to us all. Your outstanding life brings truth to the Latin phrase, "Ignus armport miseria fortis viro," which translates to "fire provides proof of gold, adversity, proof of strong men." The fires you selflessly walked through to protect many of us here today provided proof of your heart of gold, and the adversity you faced evidence of your courage and bravery. Thank you for caring for me as though I was your own, for the depth of love and joy and the unwavering support you poured into me. Know that every day I live henceforth is a tribute to all you were in my life. As I come to terms with your passing, I can't help but think of David Eagleman's words. There are 3 deaths. The first is when the body ceases to function. The second is when the body is consigned to the grave. The third is the moment, sometime in the future, when your name is spoken for the last time. I take solace in the knowledge that the third death will never come to you. Your name, Akoto Ampaw, shall be spoken until the end of time, as a testament to your great legacy and the countless lives you touched, nurtured, and changed for the better. Your legacy shall endure with might, as memories of your kindness dance shining bright. Your footprints of compassion will forever remain, a beacon of hope amidst life's joy and pain. Rest now in heaven's warm embrace, the afterline serene, where tranquility reigns and your shroud as new as made clean. May your soul find everlasting peace and never sever, for your legacy, dear Uncle Shay, shall live on forever. Adieu, my darling Uncle Shay Shay. Give Mommy Annette and Tanti all my love. I would have ended here, but this morning, as I was getting ready, there was a song that kept playing in my ear. Those of you who watched the election petition cases, most recent one, would remember in intermissions the song Ghana Niba. So I will ask the choir to please sing it as I go off in memory of him. Thank you.
Tributes from siblings. Man is great, not because of what he is, but for what he does for others. Man is great not because of what he possesses, but for what he shares with others. Pope John Paul II. In fond remembrance of our beloved big brother, whose presence in our lives transcended the traditional role of a brother to that of a nurturing father figure. Fotoni, as we affectionately called you, were more than a brother. Thank you for being the father figure we needed after Papa, our dad, passed when we were all relatively young. You have always been a source of strength and inspiration to us, with a legacy that is unparalleled. We, the younger ones, vividly remember, like it was yesterday, when you, Da Conso, and Da Annette of blessed memory, and the rest of the siblings made a decision to move us from Hohoe and Lolobi to live with you in Accra when the youngest of us was barely 5 years old. That was the turning point in our lives, with opportunities accorded us in Accra, which we were not exposed to whilst living in the village. You made the sacrifice to put us in private schools to be able to catch up and be competitive in gaining admission to some of the best secondary schools in Ghana, and further to be who we are today. You graciously served as our father on many important occasions and milestones in our lives, including playing the father role in our marriages, traveling the length and breadth of the country, including accompanying Pajo to Oyo in Akwa Ibom State in Nigeria to marry, in all this to marry the loves of our lives, Anya, Francis, Annie, and Ya. The imprint of character you left on the hearts and minds of our in-laws is something they all continue to mention until today. Your steadfast commitment to the welfare of our family and your selfless sacrifices to the greater good of our country exemplify a life marked by profound dedication. Your contributions to our family are immeasurable, extending far beyond the boundaries of conventional roles. As a guiding force, you imparted invaluable virtues and life principles, teaching us about the importance of humility, honesty, compassion, and the act of giving even when faced with scarcity. Through your actions, you not only shaped our character, but also instilled in us a deep sense of responsibility and empathy. Sheshe, a man of strong convictions, you believed resolutely in the principles you held dear. Your moral compass, coupled with a reservoir of knowledge that seemed boundless, made you a pillar of wisdom in our lives. Your analytical approach to handling difficult issues reflected in how you approach sensitive family issues that would have left yawning cracks in both nuclear and extended family. We look up to you, not just as a brother, but an exemplar of the virtues that make a person truly noble. The role you played as a mentor and role model left an enduring impact, influencing decisions and shaping the trajectory of our lives. Your ability to lead by example and your unyielding commitment to your beliefs set a standard that continues to inspire us even in your absence. We cannot forget the sacrifices you made for true freedom and justice in Ghana, even at the expense of our family. it's simply immeasurable. The many years you spent touring virtually all prisons in Ghana as a prisoner of conscience, from Usher Fort prisons through Akuse and many more to Bolgatanga prisons, had some toll on you. But in all this, you were resolute and rather encouraged us whenever we had the rare chance to visiting you. Your selflessness and dedication to helping Mother Ghana and the people of different walks of life, like your colleagues in the legal fraternity will say, is a matter of res ipsa liquiter. That is to say, your dedication to mankind speaks for itself. We are extremely proud of you. Yes, we're all expecting you to get better and be discharged from the hospital so we could have more time with each other, but it was not to be so. Your untimely demise has robbed us of the opportunity to catch up on all our beautiful personal experiences that life circumstances did not allow us to share with each other. Yet, as we reflect on the lessons you imparted and the memories we shared, we are acutely aware that many questions and discussions remained unresolved. Plans for your well-deserved retirement now linger as unfulfilled dreams. The void you left by your departure is profound, and we find solace in cherishing the moment, values, and insight you left behind. Uncle Deshe, your spirit lives on in the core of our family, a testament to the enduring impact of your love and guidance. In our hearts, you are forever present, a source of inspiration and a symbol of profound influence one individual can have on the lives of those they touch. In whatever situation we find ourselves, irrespective of how equivocal it may be, we are guided by the shared thought of what you would have had us done in such circumstances. You are very unique as a master of nicknames, as you had many pet names for each one of us. Now that you are no more, who is going to call us? Ako the boy, or simply the boy, as your greetings to me in the morning, or Pipi Joe, making it chief maker, whenever you see a mountain of food heaped in front of Pajo, or Amefa Wema, whenever Emefa announced her presence unexpectedly on a visit. We would have heard you biggie from upstairs whenever Mensa had done something wrong or when you had some good news for him. A shout of Alan Searches at Kosivi anytime you wanted his attention, and then the venerable Dr. Hamatojin at Komi when he was up to mixing up herbs as a self-acclaimed traditional medicine herbalist for anything from a common cold to serious ailments at home. Each one of us here had another set of pet names to come from you if you had to tease us. You certainly did not want to be teased and would use any and all available rough tactics to avoid sin. You simply just were too much when your playful mood of yours is engaged. Though we miss you deeply, we take consolation in the fact that the good Lord knows best. Photoni, rest well. Rest well from all your hard labor and life challenges. You certainly have paid your dues to family, mankind, God, and country. Fare thee well, our dear brother, till we meet again. Fotoni, Njolo, Siase, Kukako, Heide, Nye. God be with you till we meet again. Can we have the choir sing along with us?